What's up, you guys? It's your girl Kayla Ashay, and I am here today at Gallery 90220 here at the Red Dot Series with the one and only Mr. Rob. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fabulous, darling. We're here. It's a good day. I don't know why I wear a long sleeve because it's a little hot, but it's okay. I like to be a little cold. Yeah, you too. Hey, we wearing black. You got the memo.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, although I should have put my ones on. It's all good. It is all good. So can you please tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where you're from?
Yeah, definitely. With regard to my upbringing, where I'm from, I was born in the Midwest, actually, in Indianapolis, Indiana, and stayed there until I was about 12 years old, so 2006. My family migrated to Compton, California,
Oh, wow.
and been there ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel? You said 2006. So about how old are you then?
I was 12,
You're
11,
you're
11
12.
going on 12.
Okay. So like being younger there, right? Like, can you tell me a little bit about the differences there and then out here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, man, it's kind of a complex question just because like you think about the years that have passed and then it's
Right.
like two totally different states. But I think
Right.
I could say like Indianapolis, it's definitely just if you're just talking in general, like it's slower than California, obviously. Um, yeah, that's like kind of the biggest difference for me was definitely a pace change. Like back in Indianapolis where I grew up, I was still in the hood, but it was more just kind of like at that time we were still playing outside and different things like that.
Right.
And when I came to California, like we were still outside, but it was just like it's just so much going on. So it's just kind of
Yeah,
different.
right,
Like
right.
everybody in Indianapolis versus like out here is kind of
It's a
like
little
yeah.
bigger, right? Was it kind of scary for you a little bit?
I wouldn't necessarily say scary. It's just kind of like my whole reality changed.
Yeah.
So you have friends that you went to elementary school with, that you grew up with since you was like I mean even
Yeah.
younger than your
See, I would
preteens.
have been mad because I've been there, done that to where
Yeah.
I'm like young, having changes, just like, dude, seriously.
Yeah.
My whole life has to change now because of y'all. I'm mad. I
Yeah.
want my friends.
Yeah, no, it was definitely it was an adjustment for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Plenty and what you do there.
Yeah, so I work for a company called Plenty. They're an indoor vertical farming company that specializes in produce like fruits and veggies. And so they're building like the first world class, biggest indoor vertical farm by output in the city of Compton.
Oh,
And so, yeah, it's a really unique opportunity. It's the merge between agriculture and technology. It's a very innovative and I truly believe like futuristic concept. It's kind of like the way we have to go as a world, right? Just because of climate change and if you think about farmland and things that like we don't have or that we're running out of, it's like a great alternative to how we farm and how we think about like fresh produce, et cetera, accessibility, technology, peak flavor produce, et cetera. So it's just it's a very innovative concept. And I'm able to work there, and I'm the community engagement manager. So it's kind of like right up my alley. Like I get a chance to work not only with the company, learn more about the business, learn more about the technology and what it provides, but I also get to work in my city to bring programs, initiatives, opportunities. Which is one of the ways I met Dave, which is just through networking and seeing how we can kind of, incorporate what that company has into the community to give something back. So.
Dope, yeah. So you said, what kind of like technology is put into place when it comes down to, like the produce?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
That's a great question. So with this concept, what you think about vertical farming, like traditionally farming is like horizontal, right? And then it's out in the field typically. And even if you think about like indoor farming operations now, it's mostly like greenhouses, which all of that is still vertical. So our concept actually allows us to have like a crazy amount of output in a smaller footprint. So if you think about like a regular box storefront, like just a storefront, or a better visualization that we have is like if you think about a soccer field, what we could grow in the area of the goal is enough that we could put enough output that that'll scale to the field size or beyond the field size just from growing like in the space of that goal. And it's all because of like how we stack internally.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
then so you think about LED lighting, which is synonymous to like what the plants need for sunlight, et cetera. You think about the way we recycle the water, the way we keep the facility food safe, et cetera. So all of these different neat things allow us to like literally make the plants, which are living organisms, respond in like a certain way. that literally gives you the maximum flavor, the maximum like crunch, shelf life, etc.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of technology, and not to like go too deep or get too granular into it. That's kind of like the overview of it. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it's in Compton too, so that's the super great part about it.
Right.
You know, for me, knowing like what our city needs and what our people need, not only just with regard to like healthy produce and like a introduction or access to healthy food, but also just knowing like this type of businesses coming into the city. Like I vividly remember, and I'll wrap this point up, is like when I would walk to high school, one of the reasons like I really wanted to be an entrepreneur and an artist is really to help shape the way we view like where we live, right? Compton and other parts like the hood, the ghetto is it's concrete jungles. We don't have many parks. We don't have a lot of greenery. There are likely food swamps or food deserts, meaning we don't have access to good and healthy food and nutritious food. And so this kind of like covers multiple or checks multiple boxes. And then I'm able to actually work again there to be able to liaise between the company and the community to think through like how do we build programs and different things that benefit our people. So
look at you. All right.
It's a blessing.
It is. I'm like, shoot, let me go ahead and can we do like a behind the scenes type of thing so we can see what you're talking about? It's what different.
We should actually, we should probably think about this one like that.
Come on now. So tell me, how does a brand like Plenty engage the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually a pretty unique situation that Plenty is in, just because Plenty is established and it has a brand recognition or a name like in a certain way, which is like in the business of ag tech, which is what it's classified as. So in like in that world, it's kind of like really known for like the technology and stuff, but it's not translated just yet as like a brand that the people really recognize. Don't get me wrong, like we're in stores and et cetera, but it doesn't have the same like brand recognition as like a Nike, right? Like if you see Plenty, you just kind of like already know. And so we're actually in that phase of scaling up the brand itself as we're about to really launch this Compton Farm, which is our flagship facility, and our product is going to be much more accessible. And so how does a brand like Plenty engage the community? That's a great question to ask me, because I work very hard to make sure that that's a question that we can answer. And I think the short and simple answer to that is literally that we're just striving to be a world-class leader in the way we do community engagement. And so what that means is creatively thinking through like how do we actually engage beyond just marketing campaigns or beyond just things that are just for marketing or for us to kind of like tell a story. The unique thing that we identify when I work with our creative team is the fact that our story is so great that we don't have to try to make up a story. And so what that means is like if you just think about what we just broke down about literally the vertical technology and what that means, that's already in itself kind of like mind-boggling and mind-blowing. Then that type of facility coming into Compton, that's also kind of like mind-blowing. And then you think about the rich history that Compton has with regard to not only just agriculture, but like the international brand that Compton is. So you have these three different touch points that within themselves, if you just sat down and like dive deep into them, you would extract a whole bunch. And so literally for us, it's not about how do we put our brand or our product behind somebody, take a photo and then tell that story. It's literally about us telling the story about how we're marrying into the Compton community, and then how do we stay authentic to promote Compton, and then tell our story as well. And so the approach that we're taking is a very authentic grassroots approach. How we literally engage with people is literally by just making authentic connections. So if you, we have Dave here who can attest to this, but any of our partners and friends that we've made, you can ask them, like, we don't come in trying to literally run like marketing campaigns. It's all about literally like the first question I always ask is like, how can we support? How can we collaborate? Because I'm really enthused behind the great people that we have in the city of Compton specifically that are doing great things. You got people that do things with children. You got people that do healthy lifestyles, like Compton Run Club. They do stuff. So you have so many different players. You got Compton Vegan, right? Like you have so many different great players. You got Gallery 90220. You have so many great people that are doing great things. It's like literally how do we get behind that support, and then how do we collaborate to be able to effectively tell the story authentically. So that's kind of a mouthful, but I think that covers like every.
You gotta make sure that answers the question right.
Yeah, trying to answer it robustly.
You're good. Okay, so tell me about your brand.
Yeah, so my brand personally is I'm a strong believer in quality over quantity. And so I'm always striving to endeavor upon things that have meaning to me. You know what I mean? And so it's not about trying to be everywhere at once, but it's more about like what really inspires me and what do I think I could really do well. Personally, I've always aspired to be in that field now where I'm endeavoring into entrepreneurship, just because I wanted to be, coming from Compton and seeing what we have to deal with, I just wanted to be in a position where I could effectively help my people in multiple different ways and not have to be boxed into just one concept or idea, or jump into like a 9 to 5 or just work that for the rest of my life, which if that's what somebody does, there's nothing wrong with that. But me personally, I just think I have a high drive and ambition and a high level of creativity that I want to be able to apply that in many different ways. So my brand as an artist and as a professional is literally just trying to think through creative ways and solutions that solve problems that we deal with on a daily, right? I don't think we have enough of that, and especially we don't have enough of that applied to like where we live. And so you still see like the hood that's desolate. You still see that we don't have everything that we need to be able to advance as a people. And so in everything I do, I try to do that, whether it's through my music and telling a story, or trying to raise a consciousness, or push the artistic creation to a certain level, or professionally working with partners and thinking through like what can we bring to the city of Compton to help our people and to help tell the story. What ways can I work with Plenty to also engage and give back and different things. So it's like in every way and part of my life, I'm always thinking through like qualitative solutions rather than quantitative solutions to see like what can I really do to help bring back and promote the culture and stay true to myself as a black man.
Right. And I love that though. That's what we need. We need more people like you and David and you, Dexter. And you, me too, what? So tell me, what are your long-term goals for your brand?
My long-term goals for my brand would really be to really see it grow at scale, so that I could be in a position to leverage that, to really enable a lot of the things that I want to do. Now, don't get me wrong, like being ambitious and being creative is really cool, but we still live in a capitalistic society in a world where it costs money to make things happen. And so what do I see like for my brand is like I really want to be able to hone in on or at least one or a few different things that I'm working on right now to really scale them and have them become successful, but not just for the reason of them being successful, for them to be successful to unlock the rest of the things that I know like we have to do as a people. I would love to be able to bring development opportunities to the city of Compton, both commercial and like homes. I would love to see programs and different things that we can bring to the city that deals with education, that deals with creativity, the arts, etc. Yeah. And so I just really want to be able to leverage and use my success and my personal brand to be able to push the culture. I think that's the ultimate end goal for me, be in a position where I could push the culture that will not only garner like entrepreneurship, that will garner also like jobs and opportunities for others, but then also can establish like programs and things that will have a lasting impact and effect. So like for me, I'm an artist, but there's always been this merge for me of like artistic expression coupled with the business. And this comes from studying different things. Like I grew up in the Nation of Islam. And so one of the things we learn all the time is about, how do we do for self, but also like help ourself, family, and people. That's like the hierarchy of how you build community and how you build a nation. And then on top of that, studying some of my favorites like Jay-Z, right? And we were just talking about like Kendrick and how do you push the artistic expression and carve out your own lane. So there's many different things I could point to, but for the sake of time in this interview, it's like literally I want to be able to couple the artistic expression with the business acumen to be able to merge those two and marry those two together, and technology, because I love technology, but merge all of that together to be able to build a foundation that'll last a long time.
Man, you were just dope overall. Y'all listen? Y'all listening? Because, shoot, I'm going to have to, like, tap in with you, especially with tech, because I don't know nothing about nothing. Sometimes I'm like, man, I need your help. Because, shoot. But, yes, it would be so dope to link with you again and go behind the scenes and really see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a visualist. I need to see this, okay? Yeah, but thank you so much for your time coming through the studio. Hold on. But before I let you go, I need to get your social media. Yeah. Drop your Instagram for us, please.
Yeah, my Instagram is Robert Arevell. So Arevell is spelled Arvell, and Robert is, just traditional. So Robert Arevell is where you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, but mostly Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I'm usually just kind of retweeting things that I'm inspired by or some stuff that's funny culturally.
You know, we need that though.
Yeah, and you know,
No,
Twitter is
it's
also
fine.
news. You know, stay up on top of like current events and verify information.
Right.
But Instagram is kind of where you'll start to see the rebranding I'm doing for my personal brand as an artist, et cetera, and then you'll start to see some of the increased things that I'm doing in the community and with Plenty. So yeah.
Well, you guys better follow the man and look what he's doing, because he's doing a lot. I'm like, man, I got to keep up. What you doing? But thank you again for coming through the studio here at Gallery 90220 on the Red Dot series. We love you guys. Peace.